I'm going to go through the different circuit boards that are used to put the machines together. Now, whether the machine is a big 480 or smallest table model, they all use the same parts. And there are 4 different circuit boards, which I will go through, and I'll show you how they work, just so that you have an indication. Now, this is the part that is used to measure dimensions. And what happens is these things are actually put together in sections, which are 6.3 inches or 16 centimeters in length, and they're added together. They're all identical, they're added together, and what happens is there's a special termination connector, and then the machine simply calculates them all out, and you tell the machine exactly what kind of machine it is and what it knows what to expect as far as seeing these in. So it does the calculations based on these. So if I was to lift these off, and actually I'm going to show you a little trick in a while, this is where you would see them. So there are 4 this direction in the 265, there's 4 in this direction, and there are 6 in this direction. On the 165 there is 3 in this direction, 4 in this direction, and 5 in this direction, which takes you down just this amount. So when you're doing replacements on part, it's only necessary to figure out if you do have one that's causing a problem, you can easily take it out, replace it, and put another one in. Now, a little thing that I'm going to show you, if we can get close enough, is you can actually see these things operating. Oh, can you see this done on the camera? Actually, you can see it with the camera, I think. Oh, darn it. And what you'll see is that you can actually see this thing as it's strobing along on the whole unit. Now, this is a little trick that some of the guys use if they think that one of the arrays might be dead, is they pull out their camera. It's not in the manual, but you can actually take a quick look and see if that all the electronics are being powered up, just using your cell phone camera. All right. Now, another board that's used is the arrays, which actually the board sits in here, and it's the status board, and it's connected to, we'll show you the wiring afterwards, but it's connected to the motherboard. So that is that board there. Now this is a hub. Again, we'll show you when the electronics are in here. Now what happens is that every array bank is plugged into one of these. Now you have one for the height. You can, I don't know if you can make the, actually see the word height. It's labeled. The width, there's a length 1 and a length 2. Currently the length 2 is being used for the 480. And the 480 we actually use for the length, we've split it up into 2 parts just to keep the speed fast. So that's what this board does. On this side here, these are all microprocessors dedicated to each of the hubs, and it collects the data coming in from the arrays. The arrays themselves, by the way, also have their own processors, and they communicate along a bus that's daisy-chained through. So you have them communicating with these particular microprocessors here. Now the section of the board here, which we'll show you in clearer detail, these are the 4 load cells that are included in the corners. And we have a unique way of actually calibrating these, because these are all individually, there's a A to D converter which takes all these analog signals and puts them in this little area here to calculate out what the weight is. And the calibration, just in case there's any slight discrepancies in this, we actually do all 4 corners, and this thing forms a formula where it can it can calculate out the slight incremental differences of all the characteristics of the 4 load cells. So you can get a very accurate measurement and fairly quickly. And the status board, which I had mentioned, you'll see a little word status. This is actually where it connects to the same board right here. Now, we're going to show you later on, this board actually sits upside down underneath this unit here. It is connected through this board here, which this is a hub cable, and you have to be careful when these hubs are in. We're going to go through them in detail, that all the pins are connected. But it basically talks to the motherboard here, which is connected in the back here, through here. And this resides on the underneath here, and this board we'll show you when we go around the back, sits here. So this is the main motherboard with all the connections that you're used to. I'm just going to take this off, and we'll show you where it accesses, but just so you can get a clear indication here. This is the power button. This is usually covered. This is the place where we set it into diagnostic mode. There's a seal on this thing here, and when you press the button for 2 seconds, you will set the machine into diagnostic mode, which allows you to turn it off, turn it on, do testing and that kind of thing, and then you can reseal it using the software. This is where the power goes into from our power adapter, right? This is the USB connector. If they're using it, this is a serial scanner port. This is a serial printer port. These are not used now. These are proprietary connectors, of which the LCD controller is plugged into here and here. So those are the main parts on the board. And what we're going to show you how to access is how to access these and test them. So the next series of videos, what I'm going to do is set this into diagnostic mode and then show you how to diagnose any problems that are going on.